Well, he will be showing you, I think, like 3 or 4 different kinds, and you're going to be learning the neurological and physiological benefits of intentional breathing. Super interesting stuff. I myself have been very interested in pranayama for probably at least 20 years now. I was introduced to it as a way to help with migraines. And now everybody that I've met in my life that deals with the same things, I'm always like, hey, have you tried these tools? So super great thing to just kind of put in the user manual for your body. If you're interested, the workshop is $40, and I can help get you enrolled after class. Let's get started. Child's pose. Take your knees wide. Feet come to touch behind you. Let your head rest down on your mat. And start to create your breath here. For us, in this particular style of yoga, and in most styles of yoga, the whole practice is kind of breath work, right? So what we work with here is called Ujjayi breath. What that means is on the inhale, you're going to fill up completely. Notice the pause at the very top. And then on the exhale, empty your lungs completely, noticing the pause that creates at the bottom. Now, the secret sauce to this Ujjayi breath is that slight constriction in the back of your throat. So you're going to place your tongue just a little closer to the back of your throat. So on the exhale, you're creating the sensation as if you're intentionally fogging up a mirror. This is going to create some noise that you can hear, something that your neighbor yogi can hear, and maybe something the yogi all the way across the room can hear. This is how we stay connected to the present moment and to each other throughout the practice. You'll notice I snuck some assisting cards in at the top of your mat. These are for you to let me know at any point during class if you're interested or not interested in hands-on assists. Take one more full breath in here. Exhale, take downward facing dog. So our bodies are creating this big upside down V shape. Go ahead and walk out your dog. Bend one knee and then the other. Take your hips side to side. And then add your breath to the movement. This type of yoga is called Vinyasa, literally meaning to, in Sanskrit, to place things in a sacred way. That applies to our movement as we place it within the breath. So notice here as you're pedaling out your dog that your movement happens on your inhales and exhales, and you find that pause at the top of your breath and at the bottom of your breath in both your movement and your breath. We'll take 3 more big ones here. On the inhale, lift your heels to the ceiling. Exhale, bring them back down toward the floor. 2 more together, fill up. And empty out. Last one, fill and empty. Walk your feet to your hands, hang in ragdoll. So this is like a forward fold here, but you're going to pull the pit of your belly all the way to your spine. Nice. So you're creating that big C-shaped curve. Let your head drop, let your shoulders drop. If there happens to be a sway side to side here that you want to take, go for it. Flow with it. Add your breath to it. Press your feet down. On your next inhale, rise to stand all the way to extended mountain. Reach up. Hands at heart center. You decide here how you're showing up for your next 55 or so minutes of practice. And we'll seal those intentions with 1 Om together. Full breath in. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale to fold. Halfway lift, fill up your lungs, and fold, empty them out. Inhale, extended mountain. Fill up all the way to the top. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, breathe in all the way to the top. Your breath stops when your fingers get all the way to the ceiling, and fold, empty out. Halfway lift, fill up. Chaturanga, step or hop back to your high plank, lower down. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Nice. We'll add in here the few changes we make for an Ignite class to add the fire. Keep your breath moving. Last one in. Exhale it out. Feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Extended mountain. Reach up. Look up. Fold. Halfway lift. Step back to your high plank and pause. Right knee taps your right elbow. Left knee taps your left elbow. Lower down, low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in and empty. Fill up. Empty out. Last one, breathe in. Empty completely. Feet to your hands, halfway lift. Fold. Extended mountain, look up, go back. Fold. Halfway lift. Step back to your high plank. Right knee taps right elbow. Left knee taps left elbow. Low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in and out. Yeah, just creating the flow, creating vinyasa, placing things where they need to be. Last breath in. Exhale it out. Feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Extended mountain. Last sunny. Get tall. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. We'll step back to your high plank. Right knee. Left knee. Low plank. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Nice breath in and out. Two more. Fill up. Empty out. Feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Sink down low. Reach up high. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Right knee taps. Left knee taps. Lower down. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward for warrior one. Pause at the top. Press your whole back foot down into the floor. So much so that you can start to feel the stretch all the way from your inner arch up your leg, maybe all the way to your chest. Can you take your chest up and back another? Yes. One more big breath. Exhale, step back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, flowing right through this time. Downward facing dog, left side. Inhale as you rise to your warrior one. Stay here at the top. Sink down a little bit lower. See that your front knee is stacked right over your ankle. Nice. One more big breath. Chaturanga on your exhale. Flow right through upward facing dog as you inhale. Downward facing dog on your exhale. Breath in. Side out. Two more. Fill up. And empty. Fill your lungs. Empty them out. Feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. One breath. Fold. Halfway lift. Yeah, step back to your high plank. Lost a word there. Right knee taps. Left knee taps. Lower down. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Right side warrior one. Inhale to the top. One breath this time. Chaturanga on your exhale. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side, step, reach, inhale, chaturanga on your exhale. Upward dog, downward facing dog. We meet here in down dog. Allow your pace to be different than your neighbor's. Allow it to be different than what I'm calling. You use your full breath. Last one in. Exhale it out. Feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Fold. Halfway lift. Step back to your high plank. Right knee taps. Left knee taps. Low plank. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Right side warrior one. Inhale all the way up. Can you take your chest to the ceiling? Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Left side. Come down low in your lunge. One breath. Chaturanga on your exhale. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Exhale it out. Lift your right leg up behind you. Press it past the back of your mat. So right here, more than height with your ankle going up toward the ceiling, we want it pressing back toward the back of your mat. So can you create a long straight line? Yes, just like that. Bend your knee, open your hip, stay here or flip your dog. Flip dog can also be accessed by sitting down on your bottom first and then pressing all the way up. One more big breath here. Take your gaze past your fingers. Both hands down, side plank, right side. Look down at your hand here and notice that your wrist is parallel to the front of your mat. Nice. If you've got your ankles together, separate them. We're going to go for 5 ankle taps here. So lift that top leg up if that's where you're going. Bring it back down for 1, 2. Yeah, put that bottom knee on the ground if needed. 3, 4, and 5. Lift it up. Chaturanga on your exhale. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Exhale it out. Lift your left leg up behind you. Press it back. Flex your ankle here and dial all 5 of those toes down towards your mat. Nice. Stay here or bend your knee. Open it up. Create a bigger stretch. Flip your dog if that's where you're going. Press your heels into the mat here. You're using everything that's pressing down to lift your hips and your chest toward the ceiling. One more breath. Both hands down, side plank, left side. So left arm down, right arm to the ceiling. Spread your fingertips on both hands. Now your choice here, put that bottom knee down or stay lifted. We're going to lift the top leg and bring it down to tap the opposite ankle for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lift it up. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in and out. Lift your right leg up behind you. Press it back just like we were. If there was a yogi or a wall right there behind you, you could push them over with your foot. On your next exhale, bring it in, knee to your nose. Hover your shoulders over your wrists. Send it back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, knee to nose. Step it forward, crescent lunge. Create your back foot here so the big toe mound and the baby toe mound are pressing down equally. Yeah, and then right here, come down deeper in your lunge until you can stack this back heel directly over top of your foot or over the ball of the foot. Yes. And if you've got some extra room now in the lunge, come on down, press back into my hand. Press through your heel, hands to your heart center, twist to your right. Again, keep pressing like you've got a hand pressing into your heel that's going to keep all of your integrity in this left leg so you can stay lifted. Breath in, breath out to twist. Inhale back to crescent lunge. We're going to take 5 knee taps on this side. So your right knee or your left knee comes down to kiss the floor for 1, 2, 3. Squeeze the glutes at the top. 4, 5. Open up, warrior 2. Can you stay low here in your front leg? Nice. And then look down and see, is my knee stacked right over top of my ankle? Nice. And then see that your knee is tracking straight over your middle toe. For most of us, the knee collapses in toward the center of the mat. So can you press it out towards your right? Yeah, even if it's just energetically, allow that to support you. Extended side angle. Bring your fingertips down towards your front arch or to a block. Keep your knee bent at 90 degrees here. Nice. Now reach your fingertips all the way past the front of your mat. So this direction over here, like you want to shake my hand. Yes. Press down through your back foot. One more breath. Chaturanga on your exhale. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Blow it out. Lift your left leg up behind you. Press it back. Flex your heel and get your toes involved. Lift them, spread them. On an exhale, bring it in, knee to nose and hover. Send it back. Knee to nose. Send it back. Knee to nose. Last time, squeeze in and up. Crescent lunge, left side. Stack the back foot. Heel directly over the ball mound. Yep. Now press in the big toe side, the baby toe side. Lift your arms. Can you take your gaze up between your fingertips? Lift up through the pelvis to the crown of your head. Hands to heart center, twist to your left. Yep, so opposite direction. We're twisting to that side. Yep. And you can bring your knee actually down to the floor. It may give you a little bit more access to the twist. Yes, now press your hands together to expand your chest and upper back. One more breath in. Exhale it out. Back to crescent lunge. We've got those 5 knee taps on this side. Are you ready? Come down for 1. Squeeze them at the top. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Squeeze, warrior 2. And let it land here in the warrior 2. If that front leg needs a break, give it one and then come right back down. Most of you in this room have been doing this over and over again for a long, long time. You know that this pose never gets any easier. You just become stronger. So sink down. Let your muscles do what they will. Let them flinch. Let them complain, and then breathe into them. Nice breath. One more. Extended side angle. Bring your fingertips down towards your front arch. Stay low, 90 degrees in your front knee. So another way to think about that is your hips are at the same height as your front knee. Reach past the front of your mat. Like you want to shake the hand of the yogi all the way across the room from you. One more breath. Chaturanga on your exhale. Great work. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Full breath in. Exhale it out. Jump your feet to your hands. Nice. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Sink low, reach high. Go ahead and sink even lower here. You know how low you go when the twists happen, so get there right away. Press down through your heels. Take your gaze between your fingertips. Hands to heart center, twist to your right. Take a look at your knees here and see them in a straight line. For most of us, what kind of wants to happen is the left knee comes forward. See if you can pull your left hip back. Use your breath here. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, twist it out. Come back to chair, sit down, reach up, fold. Fingers to toes, forward fold. Take your peace fingers, wrap them around your big toes. On an inhale, take a mini halfway lift here, and then fold even further on your exhale. Nice, and then bend your knees here a lot. For most of us, we need a big bend in the knee to get to our toes anyway, but right here, we want the extra bend so we can rest. This is the pause in the breath within our practice. Release your toes, crow pose number 1. Place your hands down on the mat. They are now our feet. We're creating little shelves with the elbows, and we're going to place our knees on either side of those shelves. Squeeze in. Squeeze your knees into your elbows. Press your elbows out into your knees. Maybe one toe comes off the ground. Maybe then we switch to the other toe and give that one a try. One more breath right here. Squeeze into center. Step or hop back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Come to your tippy toes. Exhale, bend and hover your knees. Jump forward to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Sink down. Find that lift here all the way from the front of your pelvis up. Hands to heart center, twist to your left. Stay low. We want the hips here to be lower than your heart. So find out what works in your body for that. For some of us, it'll be easier to lift the chest. For others of us, it'll be easier just to sit down a little bit lower to make that happen. Find what's true for you. Last big breath in. Exhale, twist it out. Come on back to chair and fold. Palms to toes, forward fold, gorilla pose. So bend your knees a whole lot. Place the backs of your hands onto the mat, and we're going to step onto our palms. Another one of those poses that never gets any easier, but it will become more accessible. Drop your head. Nice. Let your shoulders round forward. Really take that pause in the breath. Let this rest land. Release your feet. Crow pose number 2. Crow, or you can take this to a goddess squat. That's just feet out to the sides of your mat, and we'll come all the way down. Press your heels into the floor. If your heels are getting in the air here, can you start to bring them together? You've got 3 more breaths. Last one. Fill up your lungs. Chaturanga on your exhale. Plant your hands. Step or hop back. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. Feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Take chair pose. This is our last time here in chair. So get to the point where it almost feels uncomfortable. Press your heels down. Now sit back far enough that if you weren't reaching forward, you might feel like you're going to tip back. Yeah, and most of these poses, that spot right there where we feel a little bit weightless, that's where you want to be. One more big breath in and fold. Grab your fingers, grab your toes, whatever kind of fold you want to take, just make it long. Both sides of your body falling down toward the floor. I love that. Take a sway side to side, shake your head. Clear out what you don't need. On your next inhale, rise all the way to stand. Extended mountain and fold. Halfway lift, fill your lungs. Chaturanga, step or hop back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in, breath out. Bring your feet to your hands. Halfway lift, fold. Extended mountain at the top. Eagle pose. Right arm under, right leg over. Have a little seat. You choose the arm bind. You can have your arms kind of snake wrapping against each other. Take a big bear hug, whatever gives you the most expansiveness in your shoulders. Nice sticky drishtis. Set your focus on one spot. Switch sides. Eagle on the left arm under, left leg over. Have a seat. And you're in choice of where the toes go here. Toes can be on the floor. If you need a bit more centering, you can wrap those toes around. Sit a little bit lower. Now wrap your thighs in together. Stay here for 2 more breaths. Both feet to the ground. Inhale, extended mountain. Take eagle on the right again. Right arm under, right leg over. Squeeze into center. Now pull the pit of your belly all the way to your spine. And what we want to find is just an engagement of the core. So we're not like sucking it all in. It's just a matter of like everything's now aligned and working together. Unwind, airplane. Take your right leg all the way back. Dial all 5 of those toes down toward the floor. Little bend in your standing knee. Open up half moon. Fingertips to a block is a great idea here. We're just opening the hips toward the right side of your mat. Keep pressing through your back foot. The more you press through your foot, the lighter the leg gets. One more full breath. Both feet to the ground. Fantastic. Inhale, extended mountain at the top. Eagle pose, left side, left arm under, left leg over. Sink on down. Place your drishti and add your breath. Be in it for the full inhale, for the pause, for the full exhale, for the pause, airplane. Unwind, send your foot all the way back. Pull the pit of the belly in and up. Press through your back foot. Keep that engaged. Open up to half moon. Take your drishti here 1 point at a time until it gets all the way over to the wall toward the left side of your mat. Now, can you take it up toward your fingertips? One more big breath. Both feet down. Nice. Inhale, extended mountain. Standing leg raise on your right. Grab for your knee, grab for a toe, grab for a strap, your choice. Externally rotate to the right. Gaze moves towards your left. Feel where your hips are in space here. For a lot of us, that left or the right hip wants to go way up in the air. Can we bring it back down to meet the left? Nice little bend in the standing knee. Bring it back to center. Take airplane once more, all the way back. Lift your shoulders up onto your back. Reach your fingertips forward, warrior 3. Now place your fingers or your hands onto your thighs and walk them all the way down toward the floor. Spider fingers on the floor for support or hands to a block. Press through your lifted leg. Dial your toes back down toward the floor. You're getting a huge stretch in your hamstring here. One more breath. Both feet to the ground. Extended mountain roll all the way up. Take standing leg raise on your left. Grab for the left knee or toe. Open up, gaze to the opposite side. Add your breath back in. Got a little bit quiet. Flex your lifted foot. Come back to center, airplane. Send it all the way back. Reach back for your heels. Lift your shoulders up onto your back. Keep pressing. Keep the bend in your front knee. Now lift your chest. There it is. There's your airplane. Go ahead, open up. Or actually, we're reaching forward this time, aren't we? So warrior 3 and then down to your standing splits. Dial the toes down. Keep pressing back. And if you need more bend in that standing knee, take more bend in that standing knee. One more breath. Both feet down. Very nice. Inhale, extended mountain. And fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga, step or hop back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take triangle on your right side. So step your right foot all the way forward to the top of your mat. We want the toes of the right foot facing the top of the mat, the back foot parallel to the back of your mat. Nice. Now reach both sides of your body here towards your ears. Create it as so in the right side of your torso, so your rib cage all the way down to your hip, that side of your body is parallel to the floor. Now, if you notice yourself coming down toward the floor and you're feeling a little C-shaped curve in the right side, just make your block a little taller. Get as straight as you can. One more breath. Both feet face the left side of your mat for a wide leg forward fold. Yogi's choice here. If you are looking for an inversion, if you would like to take some movement side to side, if you would like to stay here in the fold, you do what makes your practice feel like your practice. For keeping our feet on the floor here, create that little bend in your knees. Yeah, it's so easy to let them lock out. And most of us, that's kind of the default. It's just what they want to do. So if you're one of those people, lift your toes here. And that's going to remind your knees that they need to stay bent. On your next inhale, use your strong core to rise all the way to stand. And we're just going to switch the feet. So triangle pose to the left. Take your left toes toward the back of your mat. Right foot is now parallel to what was the front of your mat. Take your time here setting up your triangle. Get as big in your feet as you can. Make as much space between your shoulder blades as you can. And then start to create the left side of your body here as parallel to the mat. Can you press your big toe mound down here in your left foot? In your body, you might feel that that starts to create an external rotation that happens all the way up in the hip. Can you use that to press your left hip underneath of your right? Yeah, so it's just like a little shift there, not a huge thing that happens. Just like that. Let it land. Side facing wide leg forward fold, 10 toes to the left side of your mat here again. Take your fold, take an inversion, take what you need here. It's a great opportunity for a bind behind the back. Nice, and then start, if you've got a towel or a strap between your hands here, start a little bit smaller than you usually would. And then just allow that to kind of work itself out. Like if your shoulders feel like they need more room, go ahead and walk it out. But just notice kind of bit by bit what that feels like today. Our bodies surprise us in so many ways. We think this is the way we do a pose, and then we come into class one day and all of a sudden something happened and it's completely different. But that only happens when we're in that space of discovery. So just see what's here. On your next inhale, rise all the way up and out. Step to the top of your mat. Extended mountain at the top. Press down through your feet, lift up, and fold. Halfway lift, chaturanga, step or hop back. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Roll yourself all the way out to a high plank. Knees can come down to the mat if that's how you usually take your high plank. But keep the knees way back, far from the hips. Yes, now pull the pit of your belly to your spine. To the count of 5, we're going to lower all the way to the mat. Go for 5, 4. Nice, integrate your shoulders. 2, 1, all the way down. Nice, locust pose. Press your hips down. Reach back for your heels. So the chest might lift an inch or two. The toes might lift an inch or two off the floor. What we want to create here is space all the way from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Nice, tuck your chin and lower all the way down. Feet side to side. Locust pose number 2, press down, rise up. Full breaths here, you need them. In these little back bends, the breath always gets stuck, so breathe more. Yeah, the lung capacity is a little different here, so fill it up as much as you can. Last breath in. Lower all the way down. Opposite cheek on the mat. Take your feet side to side. Floor bow. Grab for the outsides of your ankles. Your choice if it's one leg on this side or you're doing 2 at a time. Squeeze your knees together. Press your shins back to the back of your mat. Allow that to lift your chest. Squeeze your knees in together. We want them hips width distance or closer. One more breath. Lower all the way down. Breath in. Breath out. Floor bow number 2. Press down, lift up. If you can here, feel that you can grab for your ankles rather than the tops of your feet, so you have the capacity to flex your feet and press them up. Nice, now press your knees against my hands. Yeah, in together, stay for 3, 2, you got it. 1, lower all the way down. Feet side to side if they need it. Place your hands at your lowest ribs. Inhale, upward facing dog. Pull your chest forward, downward facing dog. Breath in and out. Bring your knees down to the mat for camel pose. As you're setting up for camel, squeeze your knees together. I love that idea. If you've got a block and you want to place it between your knees like Amanda's got, it allows you to squeeze it in together. So you're keeping both sides of your pelvis open here, the front and the back. Place your hands in your imaginary back pockets and take your chest to the ceiling. Now we want that opening in the back of the pelvis so the lumbar spine has lots of space to breathe here. On an inhale, can you lift your chest another inch toward the ceiling? And then on an exhale, can you start to retract your collarbones back toward the back of your head? Nice. Keep working it like that with the breath. Inhale to rise. Exhale to pull back just a little bit. On an inhale, rise up and out. Take downward facing dog. Really stretch out your spine here. So down dog right here is a counter pose to the camel. Stretch it out. Get as long as you can. On an inhale, come to your tippy toes. Exhale, bend and hover. Hop to the top of your mat to a seat, and we'll sit in staff pose. So feet all the way out, arms out like a mummy. Find yourself here sitting on the front side of your sit bones. And then we'll start to take a little curve at the bottom of the spine. Pull in at your lowest belly. Pause for the inhale. Exhale, lower down just a little bit more. Inhale to pause. Exhale, lower down. You've got one more pause here. Exhale, lower all the way to the floor. Take your knees toward the ceiling. Set yourself up for bridge pose. On an inhale, rise. So hips up into the air. Another great place for the block between the knees. Gives us something to press into so we keep the front and the back side of the pelvis open. One more breath. Lower all the way down. If the knees need to go side to side, go for it. Press your heels down, rise on up, bridge pose number 2. Get long here in your low back. So if you've got any squeezy glutes going on, let those go. And then all the work here is happening in your feet pressing down to lift your pelvis. One more breath. Lower down. Breath in together and out together. Lift your hips up, bridge pose. Press down into both feet equally. Now press down more in your right foot. Allow your left foot to reach all the way up toward the ceiling. Nice. Take out all the flexion in your knee. Flex your foot. Bring your hips down toward the mat for 1. Press them up. Bring them down for 2. And 3. 4. Keep pressing through the right heel. 5. Press up. Switch feet. So now the right foot is in the air. Press your heel to the ceiling. Press down in your left foot. Now lower your hips down for 1 and back up. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Press up, replace your right foot, and lower all the way down to the mat. You have got 6 more back bends. You get to decide what to do with them, bridge or wheel, whichever one you choose to be the peak pose of your practice tonight. Place your feet, and on an inhale, rise. Bridge or wheel number 1. Stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lower all the way down. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale, rise. Hips to the ceiling. Stay for 5, 4. Ooh, I love that. Lift your toes. 2 and 1. Lower down. Breath in and out. Number 3, bridge or wheel. You're halfway there. How can you challenge yourself here? If you've gotten to a spot in your practice where wheel is just fun and easy, give yourself something else. Nice. Last breath. Lower down. Breath in together and out together. Inhale, rise. If you lifted a leg on the one side, go ahead, take that on the other side here. Absolutely valid if that leg doesn't want to stretch all the way out. Lift it as much as it can. One more breath. Lower down. Big breath in. Exhale it out. Rise on up. Bridge or wheel. Everything that's touching the floor, press it down. Stay here. Bring your breath back to the pose. Lower down on your exhale. You've got 2 more or 1 long one, your choice. On an inhale, press down, rise up. Feet on 12 o'clock. Press your big toe mounds down. Press your heels down. Lower down or stay. Breath in. Breath out. Last one, rise on up. Bridge or wheel. You've got it. Biggest one, best one, biggest breath. Focused gaze. Lower all the way down. Supta Baddha Konasana. Take the soles of your feet together. Splay your knees out wide. Place a hand on your belly and a hand on your heart. Notice here where the breath is filling up on your inhale. Now start to pull your inhales all the way down to your belly until you start to feel that bottom hand filling up on the inhale and then emptying on your exhale. Yeah, let it fill with belly and then pull the navel to the spine. Dead bug, feet to the ceiling. Grab for the outer edges of your feet, the backs of your thighs, or the front of your shins. Choose the hand placement here that allows your hips to be heavy on the floor. You can rock side to side for happy baby if that feels good. Take your feet all the way to the ceiling. We are so lucky we get to experience stability. Let's do it now. Lower your left leg down toward the floor. Halfway. On your exhales, switch legs. And then on your next exhale, switch again. You create your pace that works with your breath. Find the vinyasa, the flow here, by placing your movement and your breath in that pattern where you've got the pause, the full breath in, the pause, and the full breath out. Flex your feet, press your heels into the air. Nice, take your feet all the way up. You're gonna lower your right leg down halfway. Place your hands behind your skull, elbows out wide. We're gonna pulse up toward our knee for 10, 9, yeah, it's just a little movement, 8, 7, squeeze your lower belly, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, switch legs. Go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug both legs into center. Little circles one way and then the other. Place your palms on your thighs here, knees at 90 degrees. So stack your knees directly over top of your hips. You want your palms to be a little closer to your knees than they are your hip flexors. Press down. So press your palms into your hands or into your thighs and lift your thighs into your palms. You should really start to feel the low belly turning on here. Maybe there's some shaking happening. Release your right hand and your right arm. Extend them. Arm behind your head, leg out in front. Keep pressing through your left hand. Now switch. Press through your right hand. Switch. Keep pressing through the left hand. Pull the knee in. Switch. Pull your knee towards your face. One more on each side. You got it. One more on this side. Hug your knees into center. Rock forward and back. Roll like a ball all the way up to boat pose. We're going to row our boat here so you decide where everything lands. Your feet can be on the floor or lifted. Hands behind your thighs for support or lifted. Lift your chest. Stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees, rock back and forth one time, all the way back up to boat. And now we row, hands to heart center. We'll pause on each side for 10 and pause. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hug your knees. Roll like a ball all the way back up to half pigeon on your right. You decide here if that happens on your belly or on your back. On your belly, it's going to look like bringing your right knee towards your right wrist with the ankle somewhere over to the left. Now, how far that ankle is to the left or toward the front of the mat is going to be completely different for all of us. What may be helpful here? If you feel that your hips are a little rocking to one side, place a little bit of stability right there. And then notice, everyone, what's going on with the back leg here. For most of us, that ankle wants to either roll inward or roll outward. See if you can stack it so your heel is headed straight for the ceiling. And then you choose whether or not you have your toes tucked here. Be a yes right here for letting gravity do the work and pulling your hips to the floor. Switch sides. Keep your left foot flexed here. That's going to keep any rotation out of the knee joint. And then you set yourself up how you need. Any supports or blocks that you need. Maybe a block under the forehead to rest it down toward the mat. Bring your right leg all the way around. We're going to go for seated forward fold. So we want both legs out in front, just like staff pose. At least a little tiny bend in both knees. On your inhale, reach for the ceiling. And on the exhale, fold forward. Center of your chest towards your toes. Point your toes to the ceiling. And now press through your heels. Press your heels forward past the front of your mat. Nice. Release your toes, tabletop or reverse plank. We're sending the hips and the chest up toward the ceiling, fingertips toward your heels, whole sole of your foot on the floor. Nice. So then the variation here is tabletop is knees bent, reverse plank is legs all the way out, lower all the way down. Let's get upside down real quick. Your choice. If you've got a headstand or handstand practice and want to do a few handstand hops, go for it. Shoulder stand, waterfall, all fantastic options. We're just getting our feet above our hips, hips possibly above the heart. Stack your feet here directly over top of your hips. Nice, and that's going to take any extra pressure out of your neck and shoulders. Shoulder stands can move to plow, toes come behind you toward the floor. And then plow to deaf yogi. Bring your knees down around your ears. Reach your arms long on your mat and roll all the way down, one vertebra at a time, using your arms as brakes. Hug your knees into center and drop them to the right side for a supine twist. Arms all the way out to the side. And take your gaze to the left. One big breath here through the left side of the body. Empty it out. Take your feet to the left side. Gaze to your right. Big breath here through the right side of your body. Fill up your lungs completely. Empty it out. Come on back to center. Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet together. Knees are wide. Everyone in studio has a cool towel. Feel free to take advantage of that. Ashley, I'll invite you at home to dim your lights. If you have something nice prepared for your Shavasana, indulge. And everyone take Shavasana, legs out long and wide, arms out long and wide. Allow your breath to return to its natural pace here. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Bring some movement back to the whole body, your wrists and your ankles, your knees and your elbows. Gently rock your head from one side to the other. Hug your knees into your chest and rock over to infant's pose on your right side. Let yourself get comfortable here, supported by the floor beneath you. Press your left hand into the floor to rise to a comfortable seat. Eyes can be closed or set your drishti right in front of your nose. On an inhale, we'll reach up toward the ceiling. Exhale, hands to heart center. And we'll end with one Om together. Full breath in. Om. Thumb knuckles to third eye center. We bow and acknowledge each other. Namaste. Great work, yogis. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you, Ashley, at home for joining us and all of our other online friends. Questions, comments, or feedback? I'm here for it. If you're interested in hearing more about the workshops we have coming up this weekend, I would love to go into that with you, help you get enrolled. On a secondary note, watch your eyes. We do also have a 2-hour meditation workshop that's happening on the 21st, and that is in the studio with Ruby Lou Taylor. So if you're interested, she's fantastic. I'm sure you've all had her for class, amazing teacher, very interested in meditation, has a lot to say and a lot to share. So it will be a good learning experience. Again, thank you, Ashley. We'll see you later on.